Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're decoding the absolutely explosive automotive optoelectronics market. Honestly, if you've been behind the wheel of a newer car lately, you already know they aren't just mechanical machines anymore, right? They're these highly advanced digital ecosystems. And the tech that allows these vehicles to literally see the world around them, well, it's undergoing a massive multi-billion-dollar revolution. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the tech that actually sees the road, look at the $14 billion boom happening right now, figure out exactly what's driving all this demand, check in on the global race, look at some major roadblocks, and finally peek into the future of connected driving. All right, part one, the tech seeing the road. Let's dive right in by starting small, literally, down at the physical components that make up the eyes of your car. It's kind of funny. It's a question we almost never ask during our daily commute. When you're merging onto a busy highway or trying to parallel park, you're obviously relying on your own eyes. But increasingly, the car is watching the road right alongside you. And how it pulls that off relies entirely on some incredibly specialized optical technology. Now, the word optoelectronics might sound a bit intimidating at first, but it really just refers to the sensors, cameras, and lights acting as the vital sensory organs for advanced driver assistance systems. We're talking about things like LEDs for illumination, infrared detectors for night vision, and laser diodes for super precise distance measurement. Seriously, without these tiny little components, things like autonomous driving or even just basic collision avoidance simply would not exist. Looking at the market breakdown in 2024, the LED segment absolutely dominated, capturing over 42% of the share. The rest of the pie, that's made up of those more complex sensing technologies we just mentioned. But here's an interesting little nugget. While LEDs are the undisputed king right now, those laser diodes, the ones giving cars the ability to precisely map the distance to the bumper in front of you, are actually the fastest growing segment. They're expanding at a 13.6% clip, mostly because automakers are desperate for longer illumination and sensing ranges. But going back to that dominant LED slice for a second, why do automakers love them so much? Well, they favor them for both interior and exterior applications because they pack incredible brightness into a highly energy efficient, long-lasting, and super customizable package. I mean, compared to those old traditional halogen bulbs we all used to have, LEDs allow car designers to create these sleek, modern aesthetics while drastically lowering power consumption. It's a win-win. Okay, moving on to part two, the $14 billion boom. Right now, today in 2025, this industry is already an absolute powerhouse, valued at $5.6 billion. That is just a massive amount of capital flowing directly into making our cars smarter and more perceptive. And to put that into perspective, the sheer scale of the future projection is fascinating. We're looking at a market expected to nearly triple, reaching a staggering $14.8 billion by 2034. That represents an 11.2% compound annual growth rate. So this isn't just steady incremental growth. This is a foundational shift in how automobiles are engineered from the ground up. And it's requiring huge investments from major players like AMS OSRAM, Texas Instruments, and Panasonic. Which leads us to Section 3. What exactly is driving all this demand? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is the booming electric vehicle ecosystem. It's creating this massive technological domino effect. You see, EVs rely on maximizing their battery range above absolutely everything else. And because of that strict energy budget, they have to integrate highly energy-efficient optical lighting and sensing systems just to save crucial battery life. Essentially, the more efficient the optoelectronics, the further the EV can actually drive. But it's not all just about battery life. We're also seeing an undeniable industry-wide shift driven by strict government safety regulations and rising consumer awareness. Advanced sensing capabilities are fast becoming an absolute requirement for new vehicles. We're talking features like adaptive headlights, collision avoidance, and lane departure warnings. These are rapidly shifting from premium luxury add-ons to mandatory standard features. And frankly, none of those systems function without precise optoelectronic sensors feeding real-time data straight back to the car's computer. All right, let's jump to part 4, the global optoelectronic race. The catalysts driving this huge transformation actually vary wildly depending on where you're looking on the map. So while North America currently holds the dominant share at over 36%, heavily pushed by the US focus on autonomous driving systems, the motivations elsewhere are totally different. Over in Europe, Germany's strict carbon emission targets are forcing the adoption of energy-efficient systems. But definitely keep your eyes on the Asia-Pacific region. Sitting at over 24% today, it's the fastest growing market globally, booming at over a 13% growth rate. And that's heavily fueled by China's massive government-supported EV production. Even regions like the Middle East are jumping in, driven largely by the UAE's push for smart city integrations. As for where these components are physically ending up right now, your everyday passenger vehicles hold the lion's share of integration today at over 61%. However, the electric vehicle segment is accelerating the fastest, showing an incredible 14.8% growth rate. So, as the global fleet continues its transition to electric, that EV slice of the pie is going to expand dramatically. Now it's not all smooth sailing. Let's look at part 5, roadblocks to market adoption. The market's single biggest restraint is the stark divide between luxury and mass market economy cars. The cost and complexity of these systems are massive hurdles. I mean, developing advanced tech like LiDAR, which uses lasers to create super high-resolution 3D maps of the road, requires huge R&D budgets. So right now, there's this really wide gap between premium luxury cars loaded with expensive laser tech and mass market vehicles that just cannot absorb the high cost of integrating complex LiDAR without pricing the average consumer completely out. It requires highly specialized engineering that smaller manufacturers are just struggling to adopt uniformly. Finally, let's bring it all together in part 6, the future of connected driving. In the very near future, optoelectronics are going to allow your car to seamlessly talk to traffic lights, infrastructure, and other vehicles on the road. We call this vehicle-to-everything, or V2X communication. By using high-speed optical components, your car will literally know a light is turning red before you even see it. It completely optimizes traffic flow and drastically improves urban safety. It is basically the ultimate smart city integration. Connecting this directly back to your daily life. Imagine a commute where artificial intelligence and advanced sensors actively eliminate the frustration of blinding high beams from oncoming traffic. That's what smart adaptive lighting does. It physically changes the direction and brightness of your headlights based on what the sensors detect on the road in front of you. It's a perfect example of how this kind of invisible technology is actively working in the background to make everyone safer. As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. The data clearly shows an unstoppable $14 billion shift toward autonomous optical systems. Cars are getting way smarter, their vision is getting much clearer, and their reaction times are becoming faster than humanly possible. So, how soon will it be before the machine's vision completely replaces our own? And maybe more importantly, are we actually ready to let go of the steering wheel when it does? Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and keep your eyes on the road ahead.